Have you ever met someone who felt too perfect? Like they were reading from a script written specifically for your deepest desires? Or someone whose trauma story made you want to rescue them, only to find yourself drowning in their chaos 6 months later? What if I told you your brain was screaming warnings you weren't listening to? That there are 5 specific psychological archetypes, backed by neuroscience, that when you recognize them, will save you years of heartbreak and confusion. This isn't about judging people. This is a forensic breakdown of misaligned wiring, a guide to the patterns that predict betrayal. Stick with me. By the end of this, you'll understand not just who to be careful with, but why your own biology gets hijacked in the process. Before we name the types, you need to understand the battlefield, your neuroception system. That's the unconscious part of your nervous system, constantly scanning for safety and threat. Trust isn't just a decision. It's a biological state. When we say never trust, we're identifying predictable, subconscious misalignments, where someone's stated intent crashes into their hidden psychological wiring. Your job is to become fluent in your body's language. The tight chest, the gut drop, that feeling of being emotionally drained. These are data points. Today we're turning that data into a diagnosis. First, the emotional chameleon. She mirrors your values, dreams, and vulnerabilities with unsettling precision in the early stages. She loves what you love, hates what you hate, and her life story feels eerily complementary to yours. But here's the evidence. She has no consistent moral core. The passionate conviction she shared last week is forgotten today. Her emotions shift dramatically based on who she's with. The neuroscience breakdown. This is a hyperactive mirror neuron system running without a stable prefrontal cortex to regulate it. It's coupled with low baseline serotonin, a chemical need for constant external validation. Every successful mirror is a dopamine-driven social reward. She's not a person, she's running social survival software. Your brain's alarm, that feeling of, this feels familiar too quickly, that's your oxytocin, the bonding hormone, being triggered without earned trust. Watch for contradictions between her words, actions, and emotional displays. When pressed, she'll deflect or flood you with emotion. Trust the disconnect you feel. Second, the trauma vampire. She's attracted to the strength and stability she lacks. She shares her traumatic history prematurely, creating an instant, intense bond. You feel chosen, special. You're the only one who understands me. But this creates a rescue dynamic. You become the therapist, and she offers drama in return for your emotional resources. The neurochemical profile. This is a cortisol-addicted system. Chaos feels like home because her HPA axis, her stress response system, is completely dysregulated. She cannot maintain emotional homeostasis. There's oxytocin dysfunction here. She bonds through shared suffering, not shared joy. Her nervous system is in a near constant state of ventral vagal shutdown. She can't access true, calm social engagement. Red flag evidence. The relationship moves at movie montage speed. You are chronically fatigued after interactions. Her crises always seem to prevent your needs from ever being discussed. And listen to how she describes her exes. Are they all abusers or people who never understood her? Your body knows the truth. It feels like drowning. Third, the narcissistic architect. She doesn't build relationships. She designs them as extensions of her ego. You are a source of supply, admiration, attention, status. You'll experience love bombing, then devaluation in predictable cycles. Conversations perpetually return to her achievements, her suffering, her specialness. Your success is seen as either a threat or her personal achievement. The brain scan reality. Studies show potential structural differences in the interior insula, the empathy center. Her prefrontal cortex is hijacked by her reward system. You are a means to a neurological end. She has a threat response to vulnerability. Maintaining a perfect image is a survival mechanism. It's a zero-sum game to her brain. Your win registers as her loss. Forensic evidence. There's a history of discarding people who no longer serve her image. She'll have extreme reactions to the smallest perceived slights. This is narcissistic injury. You'll find yourself downplaying your own achievements to avoid outshining her. Here's the neurological test. Does she genuinely, selflessly celebrate a success of yours that has nothing to do with her? If not, the architecture is for her, not for us. Fourth, the avoidant phoenix. She presents as fiercely independent, a warrior healed from her past. She frames emotional distance as strength, not fear. She's profoundly compelling, but she disappears during conflict or vulnerability. She always has one foot psychologically out the door. Attachment neuroscience. This is a hyperactivated amygdala perceiving intimacy itself as a literal threat. She uses defensive deactivation strategies to suppress her own attachment system. Her compulsive self-reliance means oxytocin release, the chemistry of bonding, actually feels dangerous. Closeness triggers a biological fight or flight response. Behavioral data. You'll see hot and cold patterns directly tied to moments of deepening connection. She'll praise you for not being needy like others. And you'll notice your own anxiety spike as you try to maintain the connection. The biological truth is this: her nervous system cannot co-regulate with yours. It can only solo-regulate. You will never feel securely held. Finally, the boundary spider. She tests your limits gradually, making small violations seem like caring. She becomes offended when you enforce basic boundaries. She frames control as protection, jealousy as passion. She creates a system where you need her permission, her approval. Psychological machinery. This is high Machiavellianism. She views relationships as power dynamics. It's low agreeableness mixed with high extroversion, creating charismatic control. She gets a dopamine hit from each boundary violation. Crucially, she has a poor theory of mind. She cannot genuinely comprehend that you have a separate internal reality from hers. The evidence trail. You'll notice a gradual isolation from your friends and family. Your own instincts will be constantly questioned. She'll build narratives. You're different when you're with them. The neurological cost to you? Your anterior cingulate cortex, your brain's conflict detector, becomes chronically activated, leading to decision fatigue and constant second-guessing. So why does your body know before your mind does? First, your vagus nerve. Gut feelings are your ventral vagal pathway detecting threat. Second, microexpressions. Your amygdala reads facial cues 200 milliseconds faster than you can think. Third, voice prosody. Your right brain hears the incongruence between her tone and her words. Fourth, pupil response. Your subconscious registers deception in the dilation of her eyes. These archetypes hijack your trust chemistry. They trigger oxytocin bonding artificially early. They use unpredictable hot and cold reinforcement to create a dopamine addiction. They keep your cortisol stress chronically high. They deplete your serotonin mood stability by making you walk on eggshells. This isn't about cynicism, it's about wisdom. The goal isn't to never trust these types. Somatic awareness. Trust your bodily signals before your cognitive justifications. 2. Slow disclosure. Match your vulnerability to demonstrated trustworthiness over time. 3. Pattern recognition. Track actions, not words, across multiple contexts. 4. Secure attachment practices. Build internal safety so you're not desperate for external validation. The most dangerous person isn't the one with obvious red flags. It's the one whose flags match your childhood wounds so perfectly, they feel like home. Your task is to learn the difference between the scary but safe vulnerability of real intimacy and the familiar but toxic chemistry of repeated trauma. Trust should be built like myelin on a neural pathway, layer by consistent layer. Anything that feels like instant, intense soul recognition is often just trauma recognition. If this resonated, if you've seen these patterns, drop a comment below. Which archetype have you encountered, and what was the clue your body gave you? Like this video if you're choosing to trust your nervous system today. Subscribe and hit the bell for more deep dives into the psychology of connection. The next video is on how to heal an anxious attachment style. Thanks for watching.